Steve.
Yes.
On today's podcast.
Yes.
A little bit different.
A little bit different.
Yeah. We're talking about alternatives to fat loss. Maybe we could say a little bit of the easy way, cheating somewhat. Yeah.
Let's get cheating.
Ways to zap your fat. We're not talking about through diet and exercise.
No.
Really interesting.
We're naturopaths, don't we? Only talk about diet and exercise?
Oh, yeah. Well, diet and exercise always first. But
Always.
if you're looking for another option, then stay tuned because really fascinating. And this actually really surprised me.
This is safe.
I'm actually on board with this and I didn't think I would be. So if you're really looking for an option outside of diet and exercise, you've got some little areas you want to tweak.
Yep.
And you want to find out some ways to do it that have a great safety profile and are very effective. Stay tuned.
Well, let's get into it.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to the ATP project. I'm with your hosts, Nic and Steve. Hey Steve.
How are you, Nic?
I'm good, but I'm like nervous.
You look a bit nervous.
Yeah, because you've got all these papers in front of you and I have none. So I don't really know. I know kind of what we're going to be talking about, but I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And so this is pretty much everything that you say is going to be a first for me to hear.
Well,
I don't know what any of the papers are.
No. I've kept you in the dark. Let's be honest. I've kept you in the dark about this one because it's not very naturopathic.
No.
And I want you to be surprised by this and I want your honest appraisal of this.
As you said to me earlier, you're going to try to convince me that
Yes.
this procedure technique is the way to go.
Exactly. I'm going to talk about two techniques today and they're how to reduce body fat in certain areas. So let's take the average, and this is not for the overweight person because the overweight person out there who's BMI above 30, go do your diet and go and do your exercise and see someone like yourself, Nicole Brown Naturopathy, and you'll get yourself in shape. Except, you know when you're doing those long divisions in mathematics and there's a remainder?
Yes.
Okay? Well, when you do fat loss, sometimes there's a, quote, remainder.
Oh, I like
and that can be like, I've got this bit here that's not moving and I've got this bit on my belly that's there and I've got this thing on my leg and it doesn't move because there's two types of fat. There's visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous means under the skin.
Yep.
And you might feel it and it's kind of cold to touch. There's not much blood going through it, okay? So it's very difficult to move.
Yeah.
And the holy grail of all this is spot reduction.
Which we said for many years cannot spot reduce, right?
Yep.
So I have to eat my words on that one.
Well, you'll see about the data. I've got data, and you're right. I've got papers in front of me because I don't work for a place that does this stuff. So I'm not. That's my disclaimer. I don't work for such and such spot reduction, but I'm going to try and convince you as a practitioner the value of this and why it might be good. So for anyone who's overweight, they need to eat well. And exercise.
Yes.
And we've done many podcasts on that and see someone like you, you've got great supplements, we can do all that. So that's no problem. But then there's this bit, as I said, the remainder that's left over.
Yeah.
And people will grab it and they'll go, if only I could lose this little bit or this little bit.
Yeah. No matter what I try, I can't get rid of this last part.
Yes.
Right? So this is who this is for. Those people.
Exactly. This is for those people. Now, as you know, it's very tough, nutritionally to get rid of that last bit. And you have to go through extreme dieting and extreme exercise. So to cut like a professional bodybuilder, those sorts of people that they go extreme. And that's all great and good. And you can do that if you want. But there's this cohort, which is a group of people that sit in this middle area here that go, look, I'm eating well, I'm exercising, but there's this bit that's staying there. And Jeff and I a few years ago did a podcast on this sort of thing. And since then, there's been new technologies.
Okay.
So we talked about lasers back then. Now, lasers, depending on the frequency, say it's 1000 or 1064 nanometers. What that does is it stimulates the fat cells to release fat out of it. And then you go and exercise and you burn that fat off and you get fat reduction and that's all cool. That's published in the literature. So that's good.
Yeah.
And then you've got these people where you can freeze the fat cells and what these do, these two treatments here, is they destroy fat cells.
Completely destroy them.
Destroy them. Kill them.
Wow.
Dead.
Wow.
Necrosis is mentioned in the papers a lot.
Okay.
Apoptosis is mentioned in the papers a lot. So wouldn't you love to kill some fat cells?
Yeah.
You and I have got perfect bodies, so we don't have to worry about any of this.
Not at all.
Jesus.
No.
And so it's like the very, very first question we have to do before we talk about them is, do these things work?
Yes.
Are there papers on them? And the first treatment I want to talk about is one called HIFU, high frequency ultrasound.
Yeah.
Now you might be going, for ultrasound, isn't that good for my joints and all that sort of stuff? It is. Now, this was first used, high-frequency ultrasound was used for conditions like prostatic cancer, where what it does is it's like it works like a magnifying glass. You remember as a kid, you grew up, you had a magnifying glass and you got the sun and you focused it to a point and it started a fire.
Yeah.
Or was that only boys did that?
No, I used to do that.
You used to do that
Yeah,
too? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, you naturally put your finger on it and burn your finger, and so what that does is that takes an energy source and focuses it to a point. Now, fat cells are very interesting because they're very sensitive to cold and heat. In fact, if the fat cells get too cold, kills them. Too hot, kills them.
Yeah.
Now, you might think, well, I'm going to go in the sun and cook them. Problem is it'll cook your skin before your fat cells. But what if you had a magnifying glass that started focusing at the skin where it's a broad beam and then narrowed down at, let's say, I'm going to make this up, 13 millimeters deep, right in the middle of your fat? That's what HIFU is.
Right, okay.
It's a frequency, and the frequency is 4 megahertz.
Yep.
Not important to remember that. But it's a frequency that focuses a beam under your skin, away from the nociceptors or pain receptors of the skin, and literally destroys fat cells.
Wow.
Sounds good?
Sounds amazing.
Sounds like you're going around, chung, 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 loose.
Yeah.
And so what it is, it's like okay, I've got for those who are listening, I had a drink cup in my hand. It's a little sort of, at the bottom of this is like a square inch of something. That's what it does. You put it on the fat area and it puts about 500 and something zaps into it and focuses on and kills that layer of fat cells at 13 millimeters. And the papers say it can work from 13 to 8. So a lot of, there are two focus beams. You get 8 and 13 together, and it focuses under the skin of 2 layers. So you actually kill those layers of fat cells that are under the skin.
Wow.
So that's good, isn't it?
That's great.
So if you've got a little chubby area on your love handles or whatever, you put this thing on it, kills the fat cells.
Yeah.
Now, the other way to get rid of it is you can liposuction. Now, surgery costs lots of money. This is very safe. And it works.
So what is the safety profile?
Let's have a look at this.
Okay.
So the safety profile. Okay. This was first used to kill cancer cells.
Okay.
So it's used to treat cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll read a conclusion of a paper titled, it's called The Efficacy and Safety of High Intensity Focused Ultrasound, HIFU we'll call it, for non-invasive abdominal subcutaneous fat reduction. That's the title of this particular paper. And it's published in the American Society of Dermatological Surgery, 2019. And it says, and I'm going to read the conclusion first, which is a bit weird when you talk about this sort of stuff. High-frequency ultrasound is an effective and safe treatment modality for reducing waist circumference in non-obese individuals with focal fat reduction. This is not for people who are overweight.
Yeah.
This is for people. Now, they did pain scores, and the pain scores were you set the energy levels to the pain. Okay, so the more pain you can endure, the more fat cells because it still hurts a bit to kill fat cells.
Yes,
but it doesn't
not
hurt like
excruciating or anything. It's just uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. So what they found is after a treatment, they found that it reduced the waist circumference by 3.43 centimeters.
After one treatment?
One treatment.
Wow, that's pretty significant,
that's
really.
Bigger than an inch.
Yeah.
And that's circumference. So imagine if you've got a belt on and you've got those notches in the belt that are about an inch apart or 2.5 centimetres apart, you would have to go down an inch if you zapped your waist.
Wow, that's actually really amazing. After one treatment.
One treatment.
And is it multiple treatments or is it only one?
Well, in this particular study, you can do multiple treatments.
Okay.
But they have to be about 2 to 3 months apart.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the reason why that is because if you kill the fat cells, this is the caveat. They don't disappear.
Yes.
You kill them and then the body over 8 weeks has to get rid of them.
Because that's going to be one of my questions, how the body gets rid of it. And you know, would you have to have detox pathways that are really healthy and open so that you can actually get rid of these dead fat cells, not just recirculating? And
it's a good question. Well, the dead fat cells release fat into the blood, but it takes 8 weeks. So it's very slowly released. So you're not going to have a big splotch of fat in the blood. Now, and I've got another paper here where they measured triglycerides in the blood and they didn't significantly go up.
Okay.
So it takes 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like having a piece of fat over 8 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what this paper was done on. So it worked very, very well. Now, the areas they targeted in this particular treatment was, you can see the X where the belly button is. So it's around the belly button area.
Yeah, it just looks like a belt with a big belt buckle around the belly button, essentially.
Belt buckle, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's where they zapped them. And the pain level was tolerable, and there's no follow-up. So what they do with this one is they actually, depending on the frequency, but they give you like, you know, they zap it, and they did a total of 20 subjects in this one, so it was averaged out at that. So some people lose more, some people lose less. So very interesting. And you can see what happened to the circumference, and they measured it over 4, 8, and 12 and 16 weeks. Now, as you can see, when they zapped them, look what happened to the graph. Now, try and describe that graph there. What happens over time?
Yeah, well, it's coming down.
It's coming down up to 18, 16 weeks.
Significantly, it's coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes down fast, and then that last bit there is actually 4 weeks. So it quickly goes down and then tapers off up to 16 weeks.
Yeah.
So it destroys the fat cells over that time. So that's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
There were no adverse effects reported. People felt slightly bruised afterwards and straight afterwards, here's the worst thing, it actually swells up a little bit.
Okay. Does it?
So you get a little bit fatter initially.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, that's because of the so interesting paper, and you can see photos there, but you know that just looks people just losing weight over time. So that's over the 18 weeks of an individual. You can see their stomachs just reduced.
Oh yeah, that's reduced a bit.
So you can, I mean, that's a treatment.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Now
that's one treatment.
That's one treatment.
Oh wow. Okay.
Now, how many treatments can you have? As many. If you've got a lot of fat there.
Yeah.
If you've got a lot of fat there, a lot of fat, exercise.
Diet.
Blah,
yes,
blah, blah.
Yes.
This is the sort of, I'll call it the remainder.
This the stubborn, as we said earlier, the stubborn fat that, you know, like clients come to me and said, I cannot get rid of my belly no matter what I do. Yeah, those situations.
So you might think, oh, well, there's a good paper, good on it, that's great, but there's more.
There's more.
More
papers.
papers.
Wait, there's more.
So, you know, this is very interesting. And here's another, and Matt wants to read the title. It's interesting. And this title kind of says it all. Immediate effect and safety of HIFU single treatment for male subcutaneous fat reduction. So this is written for me. They got 24 males that had a BMI less than 30. Yep. So that means
that's the benchmark, right?
Yeah.
Got to be under 30, BMI under 30.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So they did that. So
just, you know, it's still up there.
Yep.
Up to under 30, could be 29, still up there a little bit.
Now, you might think this is a shitty result, but they in this particular group, they lost almost 1% of waist circumference.
Wow.
So if your waist circumference,
That's pretty significant.
so you get rid of some, and that was after one treatment. So very interestingly, and what I found here is that the results were very, very different. But what they did with this one was this was mainly a safety one. Basically, what they found in this particular one was that I'll read the conclusion. This study evaluates the effect of safety of HIFU within 30 minutes after a single treatment. So after a single treatment, they lost 1%. And over time, they lost way more.
Yeah.
Now, how does this work? As I said, it heats actually, I got a result here. They heat the fat cells up to 58 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
So it's like hot water tipped over your fat cells, and they melt.
Yeah, wow.
They get destroyed. So this is the mechanism of action.
Yeah.
It just heats them and destroys them. Over the last thing, so that was the immediate result. After a certain amount of time, guess how many centimetres lost? 4.7 centimetres after 3 months.
Wow. And that was that one treatment?
One treatment.
And then in the 3 months when the swelling went down. And
Wow.
That's
so that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And that they did this on not the immediate one, but they did this on another 280 odds. That's the average of 280 something. So that's a remarkable result.
So if you're doing one treatment, and then they lose that amount, then you go back again.
Yep.
Could you possibly have the same result again? Is it as good a result, or would it lessen each time? I mean, obviously, when as you get less fat, but I'm thinking, do subsequent treatments, are they as effective?
Good question. And what they've done, there is a trial coming up later where they did 3 treatments, and it was pretty similar across all 3 treatments. But it was less because there's less fat there.
Less fat, yeah.
The problem, the side effects of this is it's going to hurt your wallet.
Yeah. Well, like anything weight loss related, it's not going to be cheap.
It's going to hurt your wallet.
Okay.
But it doesn't hurt anything else. And there's blood results here before and after controls, and there was no difference in anything. So nothing happened to anything. Yeah. So they gave them quit. So that's pretty remarkable too. Now, how much fat do you want to do? And numerical thing. There was another study in March 2022 here. It's called the numerical study of high intensity focused ultrasound HIFU on fat reduction. And so they looked at where to do it and all that sort of thing and how to do it. And they found that 8 to 14 millimeters is where you need to focus the fat things. And you can, and both treatments that I looked up, they're 8 and 13.
Okay.
So millimeters under the skin.
Yeah.
And HIFU increases the target tissue rapidly to 56 to 90 degrees Celsius. So you can really cook them if you want.
90 degrees.
Yeah, that's pretty. Let's not do that 90 degrees business.
Jeez.
But it's very, very interesting. And this paper I like because it talked about the physics of it. But if I show you sort of this graph, you can see how it focuses under the skin now. It's sort of like the heat at the top, there's nothing, but then it heats at a little point under the skin. Now, there's about each treatment, each little square inch has got 500 of those points. So the machine goes 500 times, beep, 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 and zaps them all.
So you'd have to be pretty precise, the person doing the procedure, right?
Yes.
Because when we talk about the areas of the body, there's one area that has more fat than others.
Yes.
So you'd have to be precise. Otherwise, would you then have, I don't know if this is a stupid question, a really uneven effect if you've not done it precisely across the whole area?
There was a study in here, and I was going to bring it in right in, where they did what they call a placebo control trial.
Yeah.
Now, you know what the placebo was?
What?
The other love handle.
Oh, okay. Right.
And the photos afterwards were terrible.
Yeah.
Because it's like it was asymmetrical.
Yeah.
It was, and I mean this was a study done in China, and it was funny because it's like, who would do that to themselves?
Yeah.
It's like having lipo on one side. It was like all flattened down. This side had the love handle out. It was the weirdest looking thing. Wow. So yes, you can screw it up.
Yeah. Okay. So
let's say
you've got a good technician doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want the machine to break down halfway through. It's kind of like getting a haircut, or you'll have half a lean leg and a real fat one, or whatever you're treating.
Yeah.
But isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Wow.
So it's pretty good. Now, it was cleared by the FDA in 2011 for reducing waist circumference. That's what it's approved by the FDA for.
2011.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
It's been around for 13 years.
Oh yeah.
13, years.
So and this is one of the first papers, and I couldn't find the full abstract, but what they did was after a single treatment, it was greater than 2 centimeters of abdominal circumference.
Yeah, right.
Because you're killing fat cells.
Yeah.
You're not like lasers are good because they'll mobilize the fat. But this kills them.
Yeah, so it's not like with the lasers, you said you mobilise it, then you go and exercise and move it on. With this, you really don't have to do any of that.
No, and I've rung a few companies that do this, and the cheapest one I found was $540 a treatment.
Per treatment. Okay.
It's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad. It depends how much. But I guess, like you said, you wouldn't be doing a lot of area anyway. But I suspect there would be women who would do a lot of areas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the person in the office that's very lean that said she's interested, and we said there's nowhere.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
So that could be the danger that women might go a little bit too far with it.
Oh, and men. But the weird thing about this is that the good thing is that you're killing fat cells under the skin. You're not mobilising them. You're not. It's permanent. There was one.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point because because you're actually literally killing the fat cell.
Yes.
It is permanent.
Permanent. They
So
don't
it's not
grow
like
back.
You won't grow back because you only have a certain amount of fat cells,
Yes.
right? You can't grow new fat cells.
They say they grow back, but it's so marginally minimal, but it's permanent.
Yeah.
And there was one adverse report in the medical literature where some doctor used it for breast reduction.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, yeah, but what if you change your mind?
Well, worse than that, what if you lose a lot of weight? And that's what happened in this trial. So it was reported in adverse. So she had big boobs because there's a lot of women that are very, what's the polite way? Voluptuous? Large-chested. And they want to reduce it. You know, they might be over large.
Yeah.
And so you can use this and it kills the fat cells permanently. And this individual in the literature lost a lot of weight.
Oh, no. So then there's, because that's the first place you'll lose weight because it is all fat.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's the danger there.
Initially, she reported a benefit because you can kill it in certain areas and just shape the breast. But then she lost a lot of weight and the breasts were then too small because she didn't have the capacity to keep them there because she killed them.
Yeah. So that would even apply to, like, say, your glutes area.
Yeah.
So someone gets all the fat, well, the majority of the fat taken off their glutes.
Yeah.
So then you're really fully relying on muscles.
Muscles. Oh, that's a good word.
Muscles, because I'm musculature. So your muscle to actually fill out your glutes. And if you don't, then you're going to have a shapeless backside. So there's sort of like you'd want to be careful, right?
Yeah.
What you do and where you do it.
You're not going to believe this. It's like what you just said then is so profound for my next treatment. Okay. That it's like I set you up to say that.
Oh, really? And then you actually literally didn't because I've had no idea
no.
to talk about.
But let's say you're, not you, but let's say a woman has a buttocks and they've got a little roll of fat under their buttocks. Have you seen that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get rid of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If your buttocks is fat, I've got a better treatment for you, which is my second one.
Okay.
And there's actually a sort of a second part A. Okay. So that's the one I'd recommend. But this is one treatment. So what it does, and let's just review this sort of thing. There's two depths, 8 mil and 13 mil. And what it does is you place it on the area like that belt, if it's the abdomen or wherever you want to zap. Yeah. You zap it, kills it, and it doesn't grow back.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's permanent. Downsides, cost.
Yes.
Per treatment. So
can you buy a machine?
Yes.
How much would the machines cost?
I look it up. There's $14,000 retail.
So, but really, realistically, if you have disposable income and you would be doing, say, quite a few treatments, it could work out just as cheap to buy a machine. Exactly. The most someone's had and they lose a lot of fat and the results are remarkable is 6 treatments. So, yeah. So they're way off 14,000. It is. Yeah. But it depends. I mean, what if you've got a family or what if you've got friends? What if you want to start your own business? Well, that's true. And you got to remember, a lot of people, the business that I rang up was in a little tiny office near where I live because and so I'm sure they've done that. But what would the qualifications be to perform this technique? Because no qualifications. No, you just have to have training. This is non-invasive. It's considered safe. It's FDA approved. Yeah. It's not like regulated. And the place I rang, I don't know if they had any qualifications, but you don't need to be a doctor or anything. No, I guess not. But I feel like you kind of want to have some idea of physiology and I don't know. Do you think? Because maybe, you're burning off fat cells. You want to kind of not do Well, you don't want to do the wrong ones. I mean, but let's say you've got and they've used it for double chins before. Yeah. If you permanently get rid of that, no one's going to be upset. No. So I think this is flying under the radar a bit because it's generally regarded as every treatment's got its risks. Yeah. Everyone's going to say that. But they've tested this and it kills things that are, that deep. So you put it in the right area. Well, that's the thing. You'd want to keep it to things like the double chin and the stomach, not really buttocks or anything like that. No, okay. I've got your butt covered, Nick. I've got your butt covered on this one. Don't worry, okay. I'm going to cover my. But I think it's a little bit interesting, the legal thing, because what you're doing is pumping a frequency in someone, which sounds bad, but I don't know if there needs qualifications. It's like what. There probably are. Look, there's probably courses you can do because, but these are done in beauticians. Yeah. Surgery. Now, I'm sure beauticians are very smart, but once this comes out, they just use it. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's really not. It's not tricky. I guess it's like doing false eyelashes and things. You don't really have to, you're actually sticking glue near someone's eyeball.
Yeah.
You don't really have to have a
I'm sure you
formal
have to be
qualification
trained, or
and just do a course.
I know. Look, it's very interesting, but because of the safety of these things, and I guess, look, if there was problems coming from it, in the last 10 years.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's been around for 13 years?
Yeah, 13
roughly.
years.
So you would have heard if there was issues, longer term issues, that nothing's come out.
Yeah, and the reason how they discovered it was very interesting because they were zapping people with cancer, and they found that it destroyed fat cells in the local area. Someone's gone, oh, screw your cancer. I think my fat's more important than your cancer, and he used it for that.
Yeah, okay. So, Steve, why can't you do your whole body in that case? Because that's definitely what people will be thinking. I'll just get in there and zap everything and I'll never put on fat again.
Sure. I mean, you'll kill fat cells under the skin, but you won't kill the fat cells under the muscles.
Yeah.
Visceral fat.
Yes.
And that can grow like, have you seen guys with big guts?
Yes.
That's visceral fat.
Yeah.
And that's the dangerous fat.
Yeah.
So it's like subcutaneous. What we're talking about here is purely, I think, cosmetic, because subcutaneous fat looks bad. And you've got a bit hanging out, then this will get rid of that. But will it save you from obesity? No, because you can zap your whole body and it'll take forever because it's only a square inch little thing.
And it costs you a fortune.
Costs you an absolute
much cheaper to go on diet and exercise.
Yeah, much cheaper. But let's because we're in the thought experience here. Let's say you do that. You will kill the fat cells as subcutaneous fat. So your fat has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It will go and make visceral fat.
Yeah.
Way more dangerous. And visceral fat's almost unlimited. Have you seen guys with a massive guts?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can grow a lot of that. So, this is not a substitute for diet and exercise. Yeah. This is that little remainder after your diet and exercise. It's not going to work.
So this would be good for people who are into, bodybuilders, fitness models, those type that really get themselves very lean, but they're like, I just can't get it rid of this little pocket.
And it's funny you're tapping your belly when you said that because I won't mention her name, but it's a woman bodybuilder who's undergone the treatment. And she's going through a bulking phase now. And she says, every time I put fat on my belly, she's been through this treatment a few times and she can't put fat on her belly.
Yeah, right. Wow.
It's now not growing there, even though she's purposely bulking is putting on weight for those who are listening. She's now most people in this would be trying to lose weight, or trying to trim up. She's trying to put weight on.
Yeah, right.
And is eating and drinking and eating, 6 meals a day, whatever the crazy people eat.
Yeah.
And so, but it's not going on her belly.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So you like it? I like how you say wow.
Yeah, look, I do. I can see merit. As I said, I can see people trying to, like maybe not use it in the right way.
Yes.
But I think for people who really just do have that little pocket that they can't get rid of, I can see the merit. If it's got a good safety profile, all that sort of thing. Cost would be the only barrier for some people, I guess. If they
cost is a barrier.
Yeah, $540 or something.
$540 is what I priced it at, but it really, you know what? If you've got that bit, I mean, you got to remember that when you price liposuction, and I've checked that out online, it's about $10,000 a treatment.
Yeah, and that's not super effective. I've seen I've seen liposuction botch ups quite a few times. Yeah.
Now, let's say I'm treating you and I miss a bit. You come back and we'll zap that bit.
Yeah.
And, you'll be pissed off for the next month or two, but then it'll go.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to go under the knife again. You have to get the tube. Have you seen liposuction?
Well, there you go. It's non-invasive, really, isn't it?
This is non-invasive.
In and walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, the liposuction is horrendously traumatic. A lot of trauma on the tissue.
Oh, yeah. And you wear tight bandages afterwards and stuff. This stuff, they go for lunchtime and come out of lunch and,
3 centimetres down.
Well, it takes the downside.
Yes,
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
8 weeks was one of the trial. 3 months was another one. And 16 weeks. So it continually gets rid of that area over time.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, I don't see a problem with this. I mean, the safety profile is good.
Yeah.
They've tested it, spun peer-reviewed studies. You reduced good areas. It's 30 minutes approximately.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And it takes time. They're probably the two negatives is the cost and you got to be patient.
Yeah.
Because let's say, we're talking about this in mid-December, and let's say you got a hot date, or in a couple of days, this nothing.
So plan ahead.
Plan ahead.
Yeah, plan 2 to 3 months ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But what do you reckon about that? Like, I know you're a naturopath and it's not your thing, but what do you sort of?
I can see merit in it. I mean, for me, the biggest thing is the safety profile, obviously,
Yes.
and if that's okay, then I can see merit in it for people. Like I said, for people in the fitness world who are competing that maybe have a little bit of one little area. Those sort of people, I could see it could work quite well.
Yeah.
I have good merit. I probably wouldn't have any issues with it.
It's interesting because it is absolutely 100%, irreversible. So you have to want to get rid of that fat forever.
Yeah. Be careful where you do it.
Be careful where you do it. So pretty interesting, eh?
It's very interesting, Steve. Yeah, look, it's probably a lot better than I thought at the beginning. Yeah. Because I'm all about doing it, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, like I said, for people in the fitness world competing, I think it could have merit. Outside of that, you'd want to be a bit more careful, I think.
And I'm going to say it again. First things first, get your diet right and exercise. Lose as much fat as you can that way.
Well, you got to be below 30% body fat anyway.
Yeah.
Which, as I said, is still on the it's still high-ish.
Oh,
30%.
high-ish.
Yeah.
So that's one way to lose fat. There's another way,
There's
Nic.
another way. Tell me the next way, Steve.
This is probably a bit better.
Okay. Oh, better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this one is it's called HIFEM.
Oh.
HIFEM.
HIFEM.
And it's targeted for women, but it actually stands for high intensity focused electromagnetic energy.
Okay.
And you can have that with or without radio frequency. And there is a paper here, and it's a systemic review of all the data. So I'll give you a big overview, and then I'll go through the minutiae of it. Okay. So this paper is called High Intensity Focused Electromagnetic, or HIFEM. You see where it's energy with and without radio frequency for non-invasive body contouring, a systemic review. Published in Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, so it's quite a prestigious journal, March 2024, so quite recent. So what they found here is that this one is an interesting one. They identified, at this point, there was 159 studies on this technique.
Okay.
And this is similar to HIFU, but I'm going to sort of give you another. The brand that bring this out is called M-Sculpt. And there's M-Sculpt Neo as well, which has a radio frequency. So that's why there's A and B in here, and they both work. But the typical protocol involved 4 treatments over 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, so this is that's the typical protocol, and you're going to have range 3 to 8 treatments, and then
1 to 2 treatments a week.
Yes, for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So you might have 4 treatments.
Yeah,
4 to 6. Of the 159 articles, there were no complications recorded.
Okay.
And what they did in this particular review is they looked at the abdomen again, because I'm picking on the abdomen today because that's where people worry about. Now, this can be used in other places. I'll show you a graph later where it can be used everywhere, is the answer. And what they found was that abdominal measurements were obtained using imaging and were reported in 8 studies. So imaging is like really measuring and all that sort of stuff. Treated areas including you could do the buttocks, the thighs, arms, or calves. Who wants smaller calves? But most of the studies are on the abdomen.
A lot of people.
No. For abdominal contouring, mean, which is average, reductions of fat thickness were 5.5 millimeters.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty deep.
Yeah. But guess what else it does?
What?
It grows your muscle while you're doing it.
Does it?
Yes.
That pricked my interest, Steve.
Because what you'll find here is the way it works is that it stimulates the muscle about 20,000 times over the treatment. So it's like,
okay.
And it puts a radio frequency through it that speeds up the removal of lactic acid. So you can really, this machine is like I've got my mobile phone here. It's about the size of a mobile phone, a bit bigger, and it goes onto an area, and you can have 2 at once if you want.
Yeah.
And it causes the muscle fibers to fire radically in that area and causing heat.
Okay.
Which destroys fat cells, but it grows the muscle.
Wow, okay.
I've got they did a treatment on someone's butt and it grew.
Did it? Oh, God.
Abdomen it loses, grows your butt. I've got to show you later.
Because of the huge muscle in your butt, right?
Yeah, gluteus maximus. It's not called the gluteus minimus, it's the gluteus maximus.
Yeah.
So this is a review, and it worked really, really well. And they also have rectus dialysis improvement of 3 mil. Now, when you get fall pregnant or you don't do exercise, your muscles sort of splay apart a bit.
Yeah.
This grows them back together by 3 mils.
Wow.
So it actually tones your muscles up. That's its main mechanism of action.
Wow.
So pretty remarkable. And that's a systemic review.
That'd be great for a lot of women postpartum that have that issue, because that's a really common issue.
Yep. So very interesting.
That's super interesting.
Now, I've got some more data on it. So I've reached down to get it. Oh, it's up here. So that's good. So this is the area. These are the areas you can get it done on obviously a male and a female, but there's a picture there. Now, you want to describe those areas, Nic?
So all the areas that the females complain about, behind back of the arms,
Yep.
glutes, the love handles, the thighs,
Yep. Front and back.
area, so hamstring area,
Inner thighs, outer thighs.
inner thighs, pretty much all the places, glutes,
Yep.
all the places that females do hold more body fat.
Even the triceps, the back of the arms.
Yeah, back of the arms. Yeah,
So
wow.
it's
Okay.
pretty much anywhere.
So I mean, I'm more interested in how much muscle does it grow.
Ooh,
So
I'll
I mean,
get to that.
what changes would you see if you did the maximum treatments? Because I'm thinking you're killing
Funny
fat
you
and you're
should say
growing
that.
muscle.
As I pull out a piece of data here. Now, this is the averages.
Yeah.
So it could be more or less. Now, there's two types of M sculpts. There's M sculpts without the radio frequency, and there's M sculpts with the radio frequency. When you add a radio frequency to it, the newer ones now, neo means new in Latin, the newer ones, and we can focus on those if you want, because the old ones are not really around anymore. But what they do is that they give you a certain how many contractions per session, 30-minute session. The Neo is 24,000 contractions per 30 minutes.
Wow.
So you're having a hard workout. Now the rate.
Sorry, Steve.
That's all right. No, cut me off.
This actually is really fascinating. So you're coming away with sore muscles, like soreness, like you've done a workout type soreness, or
That's what they report.
right?
But the radio frequency speeds up lactic acid removal.
Yeah, of course.
So
right.
it's not like I go doing my bicep curls and I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
This thing's a machine that's doing it for you.
Yeah. And it's
Interesting, isn't it?
Wow, that's really interesting.
Now I know people are going to email, why don't you just go to the gym? Go to the gym. Of course you should go to the gym.
Yeah.
This is on top of it. Now, you want to know how much muscle mass increase? Average? You can wait for this?
Yeah.
25%.
What? What?
I'll cover the other data, but see the 25%
Wow.
muscle mass increase? And that's average.
That's huge.
And that's in the literature. But guess what? Guess what? Fat loss.
Yeah. So tell me, this could be literally the golden ticket that people have been looking for: lose fat, put on muscle.
You lose 30% on average
30%?
of the muscle in that area, of the fat in that area. You put on
Really?
25%. Now, how much of your waist circumference do you use on average, lose on average? 18%. If you
Really?
do multiple treatments being the key, up to 8.
Yeah.
But that's not a lot.
No.
8 over 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, how it works is it reduces fat cell size through increased muscle metabolism, and it causes the heating and cell death, or lipolysis, or cell death. So, but here's the other beauty. If you use the radio frequency, the Neo one, it tightens your skin.
Okay, so it's building muscle, burning fat off, and tightening your skin up.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like there really needs to be a catch. Like, what's the safety profile of this?
Well, very good. Yeah, I had 200 and something, 100
Oh,
and
yeah,
something.
did you tell the safety?
Yeah,
I got stuck when you said increases muscle mass. Sorry. I was just like, didn't hear anything after that.
I'll get the safety one here. So there was no adverse effects reported. No complications were reported. And that was a meta-analysis, 2024 aesthetics plastic surgery.
And sorry, you probably said this too, but how long has this technology been around for?
This one,
procedure.
the Neo one,
Yeah.
not that long.
Okay, so we don't know long term.
No, the Neo one is with the frequencies that tighten and move, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's only been around about 5 years.
Okay.
That's why they get termed Neo. The one before that, loads of time.
Okay.
It's like a TENS machine.
Yeah.
But it's a powerful TENS machine.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Interesting, isn't it?
That's so fascinating. And so what have you got costings on treatment?
Yep.
Okay.
The machine costs an astronomical amount, so you can forget that.
Right.
So,
how astronomical are we talking?
You're interested, aren't you? About
I am so interested.
About $20,000.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's nearly worth it.
Yeah, well, if you're starting a business on all this sort of stuff, you could.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Now, I've got a paper here of before and after photos. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'll read the paper out.
Okay.
It's a scientific journal, so I'm not just, this is not, as I said, I don't work for these guys.
Good results.
Yeah, no, this is published, and because people are going to go, oh, this is all bullshit. And that's what one of the ladies that we were talking about before said, oh, is this real?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. So this is published in the Journal of Cosmetological Dermatology, 2021. Mm-hmm. And what they did in this one was they gave them the HIFEM treatment, and they combined it with radio frequencies and no adverse effects. They got 15, and they used women here, 44-year-old on average, so about that age, and they gave them treatments. And at 1 month, the abdominal circumference significant at 1 month. 1 month, the circumference significantly decreased by 4.4 centimetres.
Wow.
Now, you know what I find amazing about this? Is not the 4.4, not the average BMI of these women were 22.3.
Wow, okay.
Ideal body weight, Nick.
Yeah.
That's like, if you're 22, I'm 23.
Yeah.
You know, so a woman at 22 is like, a woman should be 19 to 24. If you look, 20, you're an ideal body weight.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose your waist by 4.4 centimetres in a month. At 1 month, the abdominal circumference is significantly decreased by 4.4 centimetres. Now, guess what happened to your buttocks?
Okay, tell me, because, this is as what I said before.
Grew by 1.2 centimetres.
Really? Yeah,
on average.
A lot of women that'll be loving that because it's hard to grow your glutes.
Yeah, absolutely. At over 90% satisfied rate, which of course is really good. Now, each session took up to 50 minutes because they used the HIFEM and then the radio frequency. Now they do them together. So isn't that interesting? Now I'm going to show you some photos.
You didn't tell me the price, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Well, they cost $20,000.
Just for people that are listening at home, they want to know.
Treatments are about $700.
Okay.
Okay, not the end of the world.
No, not the end of the world.
And that was one I found. There's machines on the Gold Coast where I looked. Now I'm going to show you these photos, before and after, and I want you to give me appraisals. Now, what they did was they after 1 month of treatment. So I want you to describe what this looks at. This is a woman's abdomen we're pointing, who's not overweight, but if you can see, that's the before and that's the after. Okay, you said wow. Do you want to describe what you're looking at?
Well, I mean, how do I describe it? Her stomach, previous, I mean, she was a heavier set lady.
Yeah.
She's got more of an hourglass.
Yes.
And definitely much less fat sitting at the front of her, around her belly button. It's very significant, actually.
Very significant, isn't it? Yeah. And you can see the mottled there all disappear.
Yeah, it has to. It looks tight. It does look tighter.
And remember, they use radio frequency, the Neo, so it tightens the skin.
It does look a lot tighter. Wow. And in the bottom one, you can see there's a significant overhang of her belly over her underwear.
Yep.
And then in the third one, it's barely there. It's barely overhang.
She has a belly that I'm going to say is mildly pregnant. Like it's not that big, but it's just
it's softer and small, hangs down.
Yes, it's aproning a little bit.
Aproning, that's the word. That's actually really significant.
1 month, Nick.
1 month. Wow.
Lean woman. It's like she's out. I'll say out of shape.
I would put that as I'll probably get shot overweight.
Ooh, okay.
You wouldn't consider
she's
that,
sort of she's got too much body fat there.
Yeah.
See that, Matt? You always seen that? Now, do you want to have a look at a woman's butt?
Sure, Steve. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I see one every day.
Okay. Do you? Wow, lucky you. I'm married. Okay, so these are other photos.
Okay.
Now, look what happened to her butt there.
Wow, look at that.
See how it's
actually lifted.
Yes, it's lifted up because of more muscles.
Yeah, of course. Wow.
So she's had a butt lift.
That's crazy. That's really, I'm really shocked actually. So, I mean, this is literally the golden ticket. So I don't understand why this isn't out there and people aren't making millions off it.
It's very popular.
I've never heard of it, but then I guess I don't go looking for this sort of
Well, when I rang a person that does it, they said, "Oh, we can't fit you until next year."
Okay, so
it's packed out.
Right. Okay. And this is like the other one. You can just walk into the salon and
it was a beauty salon I called.
Wow.
I don't know what qualifications they have, but if they've got the money to buy the machine. Oh, I want to show. Look at the bottom picture here. Look what happened to her. Now, to me, the bottom picture is significant because the woman has got a very mottled, not a great looking. It's a saggy, soft. I'm being a bit harsh, but it doesn't look good, that abdomen, compared to what happens with the radio frequency afterwards.
Yeah. And did you say this is one treatment? Or how many treatments?
This is 4 treatments.
Four treatments, okay.
Yeah.
But just still, I mean, I just can't get past the glutes, how much the glutes have lifted.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And you can see that what's the polite way of saying hail damage? No, it's not it, is it? What is it? It's it's diminished.
We used to call it the gluteal fold.
Oh, the gluteal
under the
fold.
Gluteal fold, where you have that sort of bit of cellulite. So the dimple, what is it called? Dimpled sort of effect is gone, and the butt's lifted. That's remarkable.
Okay, so this does 3 things. This thing, kills fat cells.
Yeah,
puts on muscle, and also tightens the skin.
With a good safety profile, we think in the last 5 years is sort of when they've been using both. So we think seems to be.
Well, this trial, they did them separately, but there've been no adverse reports. Now, compare this to the only way you get that result, I think, is with lipo. Now, we know that has, you've heard of midazolam and fentanyl. They're the drugs they give you for lipo.
Yeah.
And obviously strong pain. Well, fentanyl's a painkiller. And so then you get a tube shoved into your body. And you get destroyed, and they put a laser at the end of it to melt the fat and then suck it out. And, look, I get it. I get the fact that at the end of the half-hour treatment of lipo, your ugly fat is in a jar beside the bed, but is it worth it for $10,000?
And no, I couldn't. I've seen it. I couldn't do it.
I've seen it too.
I couldn't do it.
So okay, I'm going to ask you an honest question here. If you had, I'll give you some hypotheticals. Let's say, you wanted your tummy less than fat and you wanted your butt lifted. Would you get the surgery or would you get this treatment given you had all the money in the world?
Oh, the treatment for sure.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even think twice.
You walk out and you feel like you've had a workout and that's it. And the reports in the literature are quite good. No adverse effects. Isn't that interesting?
That's fascinating. Yeah.
Fascinating, Nic.
I am fascinated. Yeah.
So what I like about this is that it really does, and it's one of the only things that gets rid of, what's that word say there at the end of my finger? Can you read that?
Cellulite.
Cellulite.
That big C.
Because the machine, and I haven't got a photo of it, but they've got these big pads, so it goes over a large area.
Yeah.
The HIFU, which is destroying fat cells, is a little sort of...
Okay, so that was going to be one of my questions. What area can they cover in one session? A fair amount.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, think of a mobile phone, they're slightly bigger than that.
Okay.
So that's like, and the mobile phone is that big, so bigger than your hand. So if you put your hand over, let's say you've got love handles, and I put 2 hands over your love handles like that, it treats that area.
And how long have they got it actually on your skin?
30 minutes.
Oh, so 30 minutes to get how many contractions?
24,000.
Yeah, okay.
So I know you can work your butt muscles, but how do you work your... the lateral side of your love handles there, because it electrically stimulates that. Because electromagnetic or HIFEM actually stimulates the muscles.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So I do like it, and the no adverse effects. Obviously, and remember those photos you saw. It's 1 month, Nic.
Yeah,
1 month.
That's crazy. I mean, look, you could do the same diet and exercise, but it'd take you longer than a month.
Oh yeah, sure. And so there's quite remarkable, isn't it? It's quite amazing.
That's really impressed me, that one particularly.
It does impress you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and I'm going to read up from the trial here. The viscoelasticity of the abdominal skin was improved in 91% of cases. So what they do, they could measure that the skin had got more elasticity in it, so more tightening.
Yeah, right.
So when you've got the Sorry, you're going to say
No,
something.
you go. You go.
Oh, you've got fatty abdomen and the skin feels loose and all this. This tightens it.
Would this work for women who've had children that have ended up with the looser skin, that
Yes.
shapy looking skin?
Yeah, it improves it 91% of the time.
Wow. Because that's in, I know some women in the fitness industry that have children and they're lean and muscular, but they do have just that looser skin around their belly because they've had children.
Yeah.
So that could be something that could help them.
But it's better than that because you know where the baby sits in your uterus? It's behind the muscle wall. The muscle wall becomes stretched.
Yeah.
Have you seen a woman who's pregnant?
Yeah.
They're the size of a house.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Some emails coming in. But they're huge.
Yeah, I guess you could say they're relatively large.
Yeah. I was going to say huge. but like and that's all stretched muscle.
Yeah.
And, if you're young and super fit, and you can get back to the tone, but this will help you get there faster. Does this, remember, this is on women who are on average, this woman in the photo might be slightly larger, but average is 22 BMI.
Yeah.
Which is like our age
She's not
zone.
22 BMI.
No, she's not.
So,
She's probably 25, but she's not morbidly, I wouldn't say she's
I would put her,
obese.
I might be jaded, but I'd put her about 30.
Yeah. She's got a lot of, I don't think she had a lot of muscle tone here either.
No, I'd say no. She didn't have sort of abs and things like that. But yeah, the butt things.
You love the butt,
crazy.
don't you?
Yeah,
you can't get over
the
that.
butt lift is ridiculous.
Well, because it's a big muscle.
Yeah,
Isn't it remarkable though?
it is. Yeah.
So, generally cellulite results in dimpled looking, all that sort of thing. Then this tightens that skin up and kills the fat cells under it.
You know what? I see a future where, in the next 20 years, because so many weird things happening now,
Yeah.
that this will be how people get into shape.
Yep.
I think people just walk in, get this treatment and walk out. I really think this is how it's, because people are getting lazier and lazier, right? They just want the easy way out.
Yeah, they do.
This is going to be the way of the future. And I'm just going to go get myself some muscle and burn off some fat. I'll be back in half an hour.
Yeah.
And they've had the treatment.
That's what they do. I'm going to read you some stats about cellulite because people are going to. Do you know how many women have cellulite that they've tested?
Oh, it'd be in the 90% plus.
Absolutely right, 95%.
Yeah.
Cellulite is quite a prevalent condition that occurs in most post-pubescent females, 95 to 95%. Collagen is the main component of connective tissue influenced by cellulite to form unnatural, rigid, that modelling effect. Yeah. When radio frequency in the NEO is applied together with the TP, the energy, the mechanical energy, to the sites of the cells, dissociation of fibrils and formation of new collagen occurs. So it breaks up the motley thing and new collagen forms which tightens it.
Yeah, right. It's like this in the past, like they're netting.
Yep.
So when the netting loosens, so the bulges come through.
Yep.
So it's tightening all that up again.
Stimulates collagen production.
Wow.
I mean, amazing, isn't it? So
That's
I just read that from the paper too. So you can see that this is like a sort of magical.
It's the golden ticket that everyone, it's literally the golden ticket.
Yeah.
When these people used to say to me in the gym, I want to build muscle and lose fat. I'm like, it's really difficult to do almost, but not now.
Well, I mean, you've got to have a bit of money.
Yeah. And you don't obviously not going to walk in there fairly overweight and no muscle or very minimal muscle mass. You want to have a good foundation and maybe you could just tweak a few areas.
Yeah. I'd do it.
You know what? I think I would consider doing it.
You?
Yeah. But yeah, it's an easy way to do it, Steve.
Yeah, but you know,
doing a million lunges and hip thrusters.
I'm kind of the thing is like do as much as you can within your scope of, I'm not going to say comfort zone because you've got to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like this morning was not comfortable running 8Ks.
No.
Beck's wife saying to me, "Oh, you got to go for a swim instead." And I said, "Nah, screw that. I'm running. I'm a man. we die on the road."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but I mean, I'm just trying to look at the some negatives, and what they found. I thought, okay, how long does this shit last for?
Yeah.
Well, 2 months, turn back to shit. I'm going to read from the paper. I'm glad you asked that, Nick.
Yes, Steve, tell me.
Additionally, further follow-up visits, 6 months for instance, might be realised by subsequent studies to determine the durability, but previous HIFEM studies show that outcomes might persist for up to 1 year.
I mean, that'd be the weight, the fat loss.
Yeah.
Right? Because the muscle's muscle. You don't go back and do it. It's still going to atrophy somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this permanent? No. The HIFU kills fat cells permanently.
Yeah.
This heats them and kills them. So it will be permanent that way, but the muscle laxicity will come back if you don't exercise it.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you know what? It's sort of like pretty I don't see a problem with this. This study was done on HIFEM and 20 minutes of radio frequency. Now they're done together.
Okay.
So it takes 30 minutes for a treatment.
Yeah.
And the abdomen reduction by 4.1% or 4.4 centimetres and increase your buttocks by 1.2 circumference.
Wow.
It gives you a bigger butt.
That's crazy.
So, but that's kind of like a little bit, I mean, we understand the mechanism because you're growing a muscle in your butt.
Yeah.
And the fat tends to deposit on your weight. So you still get tighter abdomen.
Yeah.
But when you get a tighter abdomen, it pulls everything in.
Yeah.
Tightened skin pulls everything in. So it may not be all fat loss. It may also be tightening of the skin and tightening of the muscles. But who cares?
Who cares?
You look thinner.
The visual's the same. Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
That's really fascinating.
So you're pretty happy with this?
I am actually, I am. Because you said you weren't going to tell me anything. And I came in here thinking I'm not going to be impressed at all.
Yeah.
But I am impressed with that one particularly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, subjects showed, and this is, again, the conclusion, the subjects showed enhancement of abdominal body contour, buttocks lifting, as you correctly pointed out, and improved skin quality manifested by reduced skin laxicity and reduced cellulite.
Wow. All the things women want.
I mean, it's pretty good. It's published. It's where are you getting this information from? Again, the Journal of Cosmological Dermatology 2021. It's not that is not a sales brochure.
No, and I wonder the age. What would the age group be? Does it say
44?
Oh, 44. Okay,
44.3 plus or minus 14 is the in this group.
Yeah, because postmenopausal women generally get their skin gets a little bit more saggy, loses elasticity. So I wonder if this would be really helpful.
Well, a 44-year-old, you're not postmenopausal there, but 54, you probably are, and these would have been 54 subjects too. Yeah, it would have been some people that age.
There you go.
So what do you reckon, Nick?
Yeah, I'd give that one a big tick.
Would you give okay, let's say you've only got a certain budget and you want to, which one would you go for, the HIFU or would you go for the HIFEM?
I'd go the HIFEM.
Is that because it's a woman thing?
No, because of the muscle.
Yeah.
The muscle advantages. So the stimulation of the muscle, growth of the muscle. I'm all about the muscle, Steve. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, as I said, both 30-minute treatments cost around the same, we'll say.
Yeah.
But this one is got, builds muscle, reduces cellulite, tightens skin. And we can't forget that people might want to go for the HIFU, just kill fat cells.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
This one kills fat cells and tightens skin.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the way I see it, that may not be permanent like the HIFU.
Yeah.
But and you're obviously not going in there overweight. You'd be going in there, relatively lean, maybe with some muscle. You'd think you have muscle. So you get those last little tweaks.
Yeah.
And then you feel better about yourself. So then you're going to go keep training harder anyway because you feel better about yourself. But, I mean, I could be wrong. But so to me, that's still permanent because then you're going to continue doing the diet and the exercise and pushing in the gym. So this I see this for people who really are in the gym and really want to put on and really focusing on that muscle mass and all that sort of thing and the body, contouring that you do in the gym. So this is just little tweaks in little areas that maybe are a little bit harder to sort of stimulate or develop. So as I said, some women struggle a bit more to develop their glutes. So just having this as just a little extra push, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, have I sold you on it?
I know, as a naturopath, and I'm all about the diet and the exercise. That would always be first.
This is cheating though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yes. But I wouldn't go in there, I wouldn't say to a female, go in there that's not really into exercise, doesn't weight train, is not developing their muscle mass. I wouldn't say for them to go do it, but someone who does, and they just maybe have an area that's lacking a little bit or lagging and they're really struggling to get the growth there, maybe that could just be that little push they need to do it.
I reckon it's great. I mean, because I'm all about obviously diet and exercise, and that's the first and second and third and fourth thing you should do. This would be the fifth thing.
Yeah,
I'd do it. Just like to zap yourself just to get rid of a bit of whatever. You know, you might have love handles, you might have a bit of cellulite you don't like. If you got it all up and down your legs, forget it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's ludicrous. But if you got a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And most women do. 95%, as you correctly point out, have some cellulite.
Oh, look, and that, you know, as I said, I used to train women, or people and women particularly, and really lean, fit, you know, strong women still have cellulite. So, you know, you don't have to be overweight to have cellulite.
I mean, you and I have got perfect bodies, so we don't have any worry about this shit.
Whatsoever, Steve, no.
Jesus. No, listen, I do this on my gut and heartbeat. I don't have a problem. I tried to look for something, like I try to give you the positive and negatives.
Yeah.
And there's just a price is the negative.
Yeah, the price would be the negative.
But you saw the before and after photos a month apart.
Yeah, so you're doing 4 treatments at $700 each.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's $2,500, close to $3,000.
Yeah.
But, you know, for some women, that'd be worth it.
Hey? I mean, you might be able to find a cheap one. They might get cheaper over time. They might be cheaper somewhere else in the world. There might be someone offering a blue light disco or whatever, you know, like one of those discount things.
Yes.
Blue light disco.
Blue light disco.
Blue light savers. So I mean, look at the areas though. You know, someone's got some area that's bad.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm holding up a picture of where you can get it done according to, you know, a clinic. I mean, wow.
Yeah. And look, I don't advocate for this sort of thing, but, you know, if there are people out there that this is what they would prefer to do. So I guess if they're looking for options, then at least we're giving them an option that looks to have a really good safety profile. It's effective. And so, you know, it's something that somebody who does want to sort of maybe cheat their way through it a little bit can
I'm full for cheating.
It can have the option there.
So to sum up, have I convinced you that there's some treatments out there that could be useful for us naturopaths that...
Yeah. I mean, look, I find the danger with being a naturopath. I'm very holistic, so I'm very much all holistic.
Yeah.
Whereas some naturopaths are a little bit both. But I don't generally look at that. That's why didn't know they existed. But yeah, sometimes look, if there's, like I said, it's all about the safety profile for me. You know, if it's safe, it's no long term effects and things like that, then I can't see why you couldn't, you know, just tweak little areas if you're really worried about it.
Something adverse reported so far, and if you want to look better, I mean, gee whiz, lipo's your other option, and that's a...
No, I wouldn't do that. I don't know how.
And, you know, then they have those butt implants. Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah. And then go back to our implant podcast about what can happen if you're putting foreign objects in your body.
Google Asia syndrome.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is an alternative. It's growing your own muscles, reduces fat, tightens skin. Wow. I'm for it.
There you go.
Have I convinced you?
You have surprised me, Steve, because I was sitting here thinking, there's nothing he can tell me that I would go for. But you have surprised me. I'm quite impressed.
Good.
So, you know, for people after Christmas, if they've got little areas that they want to work
That's
on,
what I'm thinking.
So there's an option for the people that want to do, that are looking for it. So we're just presenting the options.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, that's about all we've got time for. I'll see you again next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Nick. This is our segment called Ask a Naturopath.
Yes.
And you are a naturopath.
Yes, and put in your questions below.
Oh, yes.
Or wherever you want to put them.
Put them.
Man will find them.
Yes, put them in. This is from YouTube, this question.
Yes.
It says, hey, this cheeky girl. This is a serious one. It says, hey, guys, thank you for doing a podcast on menopause, because we did one on menopause recently. Yeah. I am a 64-year-old woman, very serious about my quality of life, and I am aging well, and have been watching your podcast every week for the last couple of years, and it's been life-changing for me. Now, the question, just recently I've been taking Tonkat Ali and Shilajit. Is this suitable for post-menopausal women, Nick?
Yes, good question. So, yes. So Shilajit, we also did a podcast on Shilajit.
We did and we've done one on Tonkat Ali.
Exactly.
And funny, we're looking at the medical literature yesterday on Tonkat Ali too, remember?
We were, definitely. So Shilajit, yes, it can be beneficial for postmenopausal women, but not for hormones. It's not really going to do much. It can increase your FSH, but if you're not having any ovarian function, that's not going to do anything. So, but it can be good for bone health, and it can be good for skin. So there's some benefits for Shilajit for postmenopausal women. And Tonkat Ali, again, we were trying to find sort of literature on increasing testosterone and things like that. I think a minimal.
Yeah.
We sort of discovered a minimal.
Maybe an adrenal, which have mild hormonal things. Yeah. We found it slightly beneficial when it was combined with another herb that was not Shilajit. But
that's right, yeah.
But so it probably has some effect.
Look at it's not detrimental, put it that way, but for hormonal profile modification, probably not going to be the best thing. But definitely Shilajit for bone health and skin health can be really good, and, even a little bit adaptogenic to a degree. So
good one, Nick.
Yeah, so there's no harm to keep taking it at all.
Excellent, Nick. Well, you asked me a question because I'm an naturopath too then.
I'm standing there just staring at you, waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
Hello, Steve. Nic and Steve. Here's a question I hope you guys can help me with. How do I know I'm getting enough protein? Rather than measuring how much protein I'm consuming, what are the symptoms of not getting enough protein, if any? And also, are there any signs of taking too much protein? I'm a 34-year-old female, average health, if that makes any difference.
All right.
Anonymous.
So the rule of thumb, and I'll say that and then we'll contradict myself a little bit. The rule of thumb is about 2 grams a kilogram body weight. So if she is 60, you want to be having about a weight of 60 kilograms, about 120 grams of protein a day. Now, what does that look like and what does that equate to? It's about 600 grams of meat if you want to convert it to meat and chicken. So if you're having sort of that, say, twice a day, then you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But if you have like eggs for breakfast and a salad with chicken on it for lunch and meat for dinner, you're going to be fine.
Not 600 grams twice a day, by the way.
No, it's 600
grams a day.
Yeah, a whole day.
just to
so try and get now. If you're not having enough protein, you will be starting to lose muscle mass.
Yes.
And if you're having too much of it, your digestion might slow down a bit, and you may start to put on weight. But I find in women rarely eat too much protein. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think if anything, women do undereat protein. So, but too much protein, exactly that. Probably just digestively not feel great.
Yeah.
But then some women who don't take in enough protein still struggle with protein digestion. And you want to make sure you're digesting your protein well, so you can break it down and get that amino acid into the system, because amino acids, you need it for not only muscle building but neurotransmitters, everything, production, so many building blocks. So, if you're struggling with digestion, then apple cider vinegar or some digestive enzymes just to help to break down that protein, so you're getting the full benefit of it.
Or supplement protein like collagen.
Also protein. So protein powders are good because obviously they're very easily absorbed and assimilated. So if you're struggling to get enough protein in, I generally say to women, have a protein shake, because that's your good 30 to 40 grams of protein right there.
Yeah.
And then you can use your fist or your palm as a bit of a measure as well.
Palm method. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so if you don't want to be weighing your proteins on your foods, then just use like a palm size, because obviously everyone's hands relative to them. So men, bigger hand, bigger size, bigger serving size. But a palm size of protein is sort of one serve.
Yeah.
So you could probably look at, two of those twice a day would be a good
good
sort of gauge to go off to if you're getting enough
big
protein.
palm, so I can scoff on that. That's good.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at that, that's your palm's not huge. So I'd probably eat at least 1.5 of those per meal.
Yeah.
So just go on your palm size and get 1.5 to 2 in, say, lunch and dinner, and then maybe for breakfast, if you don't want a big breakfast, you can make a smoothie and put your protein powder in. Then at least you ensured you're getting at least enough protein in there. And there, as you said, if you're maintaining muscle mass or you're looking at building muscle, and you are, then you're probably getting enough protein. If you aren't, then that could be something to look at. And if you're getting enough protein and still, maybe not getting the muscle growth or the muscle maintenance, look at digestion, because you may not be breaking it down effectively to get those amino acids.
Excellent.
That's my input. Yeah.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, that's about all our time. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
See ya.